Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to free review. I believe we're on part 9. So before we start this match, I just want to quickly say I am sorry that I know there was like a couple of you that submitted free reviews, but there was like another patch. I think it was like a bug fix, so I wasn't actually able to review those matches. So I do apologize for that. I hope you guys are able to get more matches in, because I was gonna record it yesterday, but then I forgot there was like another patch, like the bug fix, so those matches were unavailable. So I do apologize for that. But here we're actually reviewing Pycris. He's up against Rami. He's on the new map. I forgot what it's called. Morbidity, I think. So our opponent's gonna start out with Murder Wing. Nothing else to follow up on this map. Typically, especially if you're new, right? You're gonna want to start out with the Murder Wing, and then probably a couple 1-drops. If you're not gonna start out with the Murder Wing, that's okay too. What you should start if you're going first is typically a 1-drop here, right? A 1-drop over here, right next to this tile, just so that you could get start pressuring those panic points early on. Or if you're gonna with the Murder Wing here, and then 1-drop right here, you know, on your next turn it'll be moved to here. You could go ahead capture this tile. You don't want to start off slow, so Pycris is gonna start off with a bad side manners. I'm assuming you just unlocked them, considering he has level 1. However, let's see. However, what I would do if I were you, typically if you see someone starting with the Murder Wing early on, well, more than likely what they're going to do, right? They're gonna go here to capture this panic point. What you can do is you get ready for that and like place a unit so that they can basically trap the enemy Murder Wing, because they're not gonna want to step on the infected ground, right? Especially since that undead, there's like no way to heal that. Even if it wasn't undead, there's no way to heal disease status. So if your opponent starts Murder Wing here, they're gonna go to this tile to capture it, right? So what you want to do, you want to get something that moves fast, and that if you have a Hevo, that's perfect for this. Start it up and place your Hevo here, turn 1, right? And then what your opponent will do will either go for this tile, or if they don't go for that tile, whatever, you know, you got early Hevo. Hevo's a great phobia, it's not a waste of keys. Or if you don't have that, you could get something that threatens the Murder Wing. So maybe like a Cassowary. I think you have a K9000. Let me go ahead and check what you got. Okay, yeah, so I was just checking what Pycris. So he does have a Hevo. So what I would have done, turn 1 for you, right? Instead of the bad side manners, I would start with the Hevo, work its way through down here to this tile, right? Where my mouse is, right next to the heart. And then next turn, depending on what your opponent does, if he goes for this tile, go ahead, place your Hevo right here, take a shot at the Murder Wing. He'll either be forced to retreat, or if he decides to stick around, then you know your Hevo kills it next turn anyways with 2 hits. And then you'd have 1 key left over, and you could use that to go ahead summon like a 1 key cost unit. See, that's the way I said. Your opponent's gonna go ahead, move their unit here. He's gonna start with the fetch, so pretty scary phobia. He does deal a considerable amount of damage. You're gonna go ahead and move your bad side manners there and get a Daisy out. Daisy's pretty good all around phobia, especially on this map. Even if it gets poisoned or diseased, it does not matter because it won't die to it. Just pretty cool. Your opponent's gonna bring out a Hevo. So far you don't have any panic points captured, which is why you don't want to, on this map especially, you don't want to start out with the slow moving phobia, at least not for your first turn. Your bedside manners is at least going to get off 2 shots on the fetch, which is pretty good. Right there, you never want to end your turn in range of a enemy phobia, especially if you're not even going to get a hit off. Right here, where your opponent, what I would do if I was your opponent to capitalize on that, you could very easily just kill your Daisy with the fetch plus 1 hit from the Hevo, and then he still has 1 action left on his Hevo to step on your Daisy. So definitely want to check on your positioning. What you want to do instead, what you could have done instead with your Daisy, you could have moved it to, let's see, right over here. This way the Murdering wouldn't have been able to get free, right? Because you have your Daisy right there just guarding it. Or you could have used it to... Where else could you have used it? Honestly, you could have moved it anywhere else. Maybe even on the panic point. Or to back up your bad side manners. Now, your Daisy, I'm assuming, is probably just gonna die here. Okay, well, your opponent's not gonna do that. Very interesting. Or maybe he is. Is he gonna step on it? Yeah, he is. See, and now your Daisy, you just gave up 4 keys for no reason. I believe though, you should be able to kill the fetch here with bad side manners and plus Grave Digger. I want to see something though. 400, 800. Oh, you wouldn't have been able to kill the... Okay, very interesting plays here. So right there, you could have done one of two things, right? Murdering, yeah, that's fine, you know. For bad side manners though, I think what you should have done, I believe it dies here, right? Let's see, 600 plus, that's like 760? Yeah, 760. Okay. What is that, like 14 something? 14 plus 5. I don't know if your bad side manner here dies. I think it does though. So what I would have done instead, just to be on the safe side, I would have moved bad side manners. I would have taken one shot at the fetch, right? And then just moved away, man. I believe your bad side here dies, right? It might live, I might be wrong. If it lives with like 1 HP, but I think it'll die. Yeah, so opponent's able to capitalize on that. Their fetch will die next turn. But right now, you're not in a good position. You don't have any of your phobies really together, except for Innocuous and Grave Digger. Your Innocuous might die this next turn. Especially since it doesn't look like you have anything to block it out. Okay, Grave Digger. And then your Murderwing's not really doing anything right now. Okay, so I think the biggest mistake that I'm seeing from you is you're kind of just throwing away your phobies a lot. Your Murderwing, you should have just moved it back towards this panic point. Now it'll just die to... I'm assuming it'll die here if your opponent... All your opponent has to do is summon something else. Yeah, so your Murderwing's dead. So throughout this match, you threw away your Daisy, your Murderwing. Those two didn't even get any value. Your bad side manners, you kind of threw it away. However, that one got at least a little bit of value. In fact, it was kind of like a... You kind of traded it for fetch in a way, but you definitely could have done a lot more with it. Right here, you are going on the offensive. On this map, I know you have access to Ginsting, I believe. And let me check what else. Okay, you have access to Ginsting, Daisy, and Hevo. And I noticed that what you're getting out a lot instead of those phobies is the one movement tile phobies, which, you know, they're okay, they're pretty strong, but especially on bigger maps, you want to avoid using those for the most part. You know, there are certain exceptions. Innocuous is one of them. You know, that's just a great phobia to have just because of its range. But you haven't really brought out any fast moving range units other than Murderwing and Daisy, but you kind of threw those away. So let's see what your opponent does here. So he's gonna go to Contortio. That's okay though. And then he's gonna bring out Hematic Ginsting. Okay. So you're kind of stuck here because whatever you do decide to kill here is gonna die basically. So right here, it looks like you're gonna stick this fight out to kill the Jar Cannon. The only thing about this is that your opponent has a way stronger armor than you.
A fine retort.
And you prioritize the Jar Cannon there. That's the only thing you're gonna kill from this turn. So a quick tip for you guys, if you're ever in a situation where you have to fight the enemy phobies, what you want to do, you want to take out their main damage dealers first. So if you notice there, Pycris, he only took out the jar cannon, right? That's like the least of your worries right now. What I would have done, first of all, I would have just backed off, right? Move your Innocuous somewhere safe, probably right here. Leave your Erratic on this tile as opposed to this bottom one. That way, at the start of your next turn, your Erratic will be where this Innocuous is. And pretty much just focus on bringing out counters for what he has. Primate's pretty good. What else do you have? You have Ginsting, I believe. You have Barzilla, but I don't think you have the keys for that. But now your opponent's just gonna decimate you. You only managed to kill the Jar Cannon, which is honestly the least of your worries. Your Innocuous is gonna go down, which Innocuous is a pretty good damage dealer, and it's able to keep out of range of other phobies. And this match is pretty much over. I don't see how you come back from this unless your opponent just absolutely does nothing. So we're just gonna speed it up, I think, and then until I see any more mistakes. Right now, whatever you do after this, it doesn't really matter. We're just gonna go back and highlight the main mistakes that I saw. Okay, so turn 1, right? You decide to get out of Bad Side Matters, which on this map especially, you don't want to start off slow, you want to start off strong. So instead of the Bad Side Matters, what you should do next turn, first identify what your opponent starts off with. If they start out with a flying unit to capture this tile, chances are they're gonna go ahead and move it to this tile next, right? So to counter that, especially since you have access to Hevo, go ahead, start with the Hevo turn 1. Move it right here by the heart. I believe that's the max range you could go to. And then start off with a 1 drop right here on this conveyor. That way, next turn, right? If your opponent decides to move whatever flying unit they have to capture this panic point, your Hevo can go ahead. You have options here. You could either move your Hevo here, right? It won't get infected. And you could take 1 shot at the whatever flying unit they have. And then next turn, you'll be able to kill it off with 2 hits with the Hevo. Or what you could do, you can move your Hevo right here, right below this panic point, right next to this obstacle. This way, even if your opponent wastes 2 actions moving with their flying unit, the farthest they can get to is this tile, this obstacle, or right here. You know, they have no way of escaping you. Both options are pretty good. And then, let's see, right here. Oh, right here. So you did a good job here. You know, you got 2 free hits off on his fetch. But then you kind of threw away your lead here. You never want to move your units in range of your opponent unless one, you can guarantee it doesn't die, right? Forcing your opponent to either retreat or fight, or you get a free hit off, you know. But right there, you didn't do either of those things. You threw away your Daisy to die. And then right here, I believe, yeah, right here, what you should have done, you moved your Murder Wing down here and you threw it away again. Just move your Murder Wing back to safety. You never want to fight, for the most part. You know, there are certain exceptions, but for right now, you'll probably want to counter them. You never want to fight without your full army. So instead of moving your Murder Wing down here, you should have moved it back to safety to this panic point, or your opponent, you know, he can't kill the Murder Wing. And then right here, again, if you are gonna choose and fight, which I still wouldn't do it in this circumstance, you don't want to take out their lowest damage dealer first. You want to take out their highest damage dealer, which in this case, it's probably gonna be a Hevo, but you can't take it out. So Murder Wing, you took 1 shot at it with your Innocuous, backed off, right? And then have your Erratic come into support and summon. You have 8 keys, so maybe you could have summoned like a Barzilla or 2 4 key cost phobies, and you would have been in a much better position. But other than that, that's all I have to say. Those are really the only reasons you lost this match. What happens after that, it doesn't really matter, because really the game's decided in like the first couple of turns, guys. Like depending when you get out, you know, especially if you're just throwing away your phobies and you're just having them die for little to no value that you're getting out of them, then the match is pretty much over. It's hard to come back from that. So yeah, so just focus on that. Focus on your positioning, right? Don't put your phobies in positions where it could die very easily without getting any value. And your second one, if you are gonna fight, remember, try to take out their highest damage dealing phobie first. If you can't do that, then honestly just back off. You see if you can get a free hit off with one of your phobies before you back off, but just back off. That's all for this match. I'll go ahead and do another fear review. Alright guys, so we're back. We're watching Kurosame up against Twisted Clown. We're on the map Crypto. Kurosame, I believe he's level like 40, 42, around there. Twisted Clown's a level 70. You're gonna start with the Grave Digger. Excellent choice to start off, especially on this map. Grave Digger's like a must-have. Let's see what you do. So you're gonna go ahead, clear out that obstacle. It doesn't really matter for the most part. I like to go ahead and use the Grave Digger's ability turn 1, but turn 2, it really shouldn't matter too much. You're gonna go ahead and start with the Bomangos, just so that your opponent can't capture the middle panic point for free. Excellent choice. Let's see how your opponent responds. He's gonna respond with the early erratic. It's not really that scary. On this map, guys, you're going to want to avoid like one movement tile phobies for the most part. Well, if you're gonna use them for offense, of course. Defense, they're pretty good. You know, they're gonna be more tankier than your average 2 movement tile phobies. But I'm assuming Twisted Clown's not gonna use erratic for defense. He's gonna use it to try to counter the Bomangos, but he's gonna have a hard time doing so. I don't know what phobies Kurosame has, because I took away the requirement that you have to show your phobies. You're gonna bring out a Sheeping Gas, which is an excellent counter for erratic, and you can definitely get more value from it. So your opponent's gonna go ahead, bring out a Klepto. Okay. You're gonna bring out a Boom. Interesting. Let's see what your opponent does. He can't kill the erratic, I don't believe. I mean the erratic, the Sheeping Gas, so I'm curious to see what your opponent's doing here. Of course, it doesn't matter if you Sheeping Gas the Klepto. Yeah, because there's a healing spot right there, so you're just sending your Sheeping Gas to die. And cool thing about this though is that since your opponent did get a couple shots off on the Sheeping Gas and there is a lava tile, you're actually limiting the amount of health that the erratic's gonna get back from killing the Sheeping Gas. It's only gonna gain back like about, after the lava damage, probably like around 300 HP. Maybe less actually, like 200. Yeah, 217. So right there, you did make a mistake there. I'm not sure why you moved your Boomer there. You kind of just let it die for no reason. And your opponent's gonna bring out a Snowball to capture. Okay, so wow, your opponent's making quite a couple of mistakes here. The Snowball's gonna die. The Klepto's not necessary. There's a healing spot right there. I don't know why he brought it out. As for the Snowball, it's just gonna die right away. I don't know why your opponent did that. And you just finish it off with the, with a, okay, that's interesting. Well, that's not the worst trait, but you definitely could have done that better. In fact, I probably would have just gave up my Jar Cannon to kill the Snowball there. Because what you could have done, right? You almost did that perfect. So right here, obviously move your Bomangos on the stim pad, right? Leave your Grave Digger right there. Okay, but instead, move your Jar Cannon right here, right? And then, actually, here, move it on this lava tile. Smack it first. Smack the snowball first with your Jar Cannon. Finish it off with your Bomangos, which will get body block the pole with the Grave Digger. And then I believe you do have access to a Miss Mofat because you're level 40. So what I would have done there, I would have brought out Miss Mofat, placed it right here, right? Now you force your opponent in a predicament here, because if they could kill the Jar Cannon, right? But having a Miss Mofat here means that you could pull their Klepto that they're gonna move right here in order to kill your Jar Cannon. You can pull it in range of your Bomangos stemmed up. Instead, you kind of just threw away your Grave Digger for no reason. Technically, you got like a 3-for-3 trade there, but you could have been way ahead instead. And you're actually healing the Erratic even more, so it's actually a worse play than I thought it was. But at least your opponent wasted keys on a clinical for no reason. And let me check the Erratic. So I don't think it dies now, right? Or maybe it didn't die at all. Yeah, it actually has a considerable amount of HP. And then you brought out Alligator. Alligator, in my opinion, is kind of a waste of keys on this map. I don't know if you have access to Quagmire, but that's a much better phobic. Your opponent's gonna bring out a Zappy, which is pretty scary. Let's see how you respond to this. I'm guessing you're gonna send. Interesting. So you're gonna take the free shot, with the Jar Cannon. Smart. And you're gonna bring out, and you're covering the top so that your enemy's not able to kill your Jar Cannon with the Klepto. To be honest though, your opponent's kind of screwed here. You have control of the middle panic point. What I'm assuming he's gonna do in the later rounds, he's either gonna bomb rush you or he's gonna sacrifice his clinical. I believe his Erratic dies here. No, it actually lives with 1 HP, which is pretty crazy. Let's see what you end up doing here. Yeah, he's just gonna go all in. Okay. That's fine though. I'm trying to think, which one would I go for here? I think I were you, I would have left the Erratic there alone and gone for the Klepto, right? And then, yeah, actually, here's what I would have done if I were you. I would have, let me double check actually. Unless you kill the Klepto here. Yeah, I would have left the Erratic there. Move my Alligator right here in between the line of sight from the Zappy and the Bomangos, right? And then kill the Klepto. Help kill the Klepto with the Mirrorwing plus Bomangos and Jar Cannon. This way you could have kept your Bomangos on the stim pad and your opponent could have done nothing about it. Your opponent's kind of weird here because he leaves your Bomangos alive. Okay, it looks like you're just gonna go straight for his heart, which is actually much smarter than defending this. I think it would have been worse if you tried to defend. Now he's forced to come to you. And I'm assuming you just beat him here in the race to the heart. Yeah. Okay, So let's go ahead and go back and review. So really your only mistake here, I think, is that Gravedigger play. So let's actually take a look here. So right here, I already told you how to play that, right? Go ahead, shoot the werewolf or the snowball with your Jar Cannon first. Body block for the Bomangles. Finish out the snowball with Bomangles, and then bring out something here to threaten his Klepto, just in case he wants to get cheeky and try to kill your Jar Cannon. Also, what you could have done also, after that, you would have been what, F5 keys, he would have been S6. And then you bring out the alligator. On this map, you really want to be conservative with your keys, because what I see happen a lot is it comes down to who controls this middle panic point, right? If you put your opponent in a position to where he has 0 keys left in reserve, right? And you still have a couple of them to spend on a 1 key cost phobies. If you capture this middle panic point, if you have control of it when your opponent's in that situation, your opponent will be forced to do one of two things. They'll be forced to either push you, which is something for the most part you don't want to do on this map. You don't want to push into your opponent's stim pad, especially if they have a Jar Cannon or an Inoculate sitting on there, then that's going to be super hard to push. So they'll either be forced to push you, or they're going to be forced to sacrifice one of their phobies to capture this middle panic point, right? Chances are it's going to be a phobia that at least costs 2 or more. And then once they sacrifice that one, let's say you have 1 more key left, go ahead, recapture it, then they'll be forced again to capture this panic point. So that's definitely something you want to consider when playing on this map, guys, is being conservative of your keys. Alligator, wow, he is a pretty tanky phobia, you know. He does cost 7, so that's 7 keys you could be using to, you know, play something else instead. But I mean, that's really all I have to say about this match. Other than right here, what I would have done, like I said, kill the Klepto, right? Move Alligator right here in between Bomangles and Zappy. And then let's see what else. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Go ahead, move Alligator here, kill the Klepto with Bomangles, Murderwing, Jar Cannon, and then, I mean, Alligator, Erratic's not really gonna do much. He can't even kill the Murderwing next turn. But that's gonna do it for today's fear review, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, comment, all that. And again, if you guys want to get featured, go ahead and follow the form down in the description. Again, thank you guys for submitting your games. I hope I explained you know, any tips I have to you guys thoroughly, so you guys understood it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.